Negotiation is everywhere, in business, in family life, in social settings. We probably negotiate more than we think. Let me start with a formal definition for what I mean by negotiation. Negotiation is a process by which two or more parties with conflicting and compatible goals or preferences are seeking to reach agreement voluntarily on a decision or transaction. So let's take that apart a little bit. Negotiation is a process. It's a process that goes on back and forth. Communication can happen by email, can happen face-to-face, can happen in an hour, or can happen over months or sometimes years. But the process, as we're going to learn, matters a lot in terms of the outcome. Process between two or more parties. Very often, there are people who are not at the table who have a stake in what comes out of the negotiation. Stakeholders, we sometimes call them. So even if you're negotiating on behalf of your organization, there are probably other people in your organization who have a stake in the result. And therefore, often there are two or more parties in the negotiation. Conflicting and compatible goals. What do we mean by that? Well, if people didn't have conflicting goals, there would be no need to negotiate. And if they didn't have compatible goals, there would be no reason to negotiate. A voluntary decision or transaction. Voluntarily seeking to reach agreement on a decision or transaction. This means it's not imposed by someone else. The parties are trying to work out or coordinate among themselves what the result will be, and that result can take the form of a decision, a policy, or a transaction, buying, selling, a joint venture of some sort. If you're like most people, the word negotiate often brings up ideas of deception, trickery, people being manipulated, and this is very common. Now I raise that because negotiation often brings up funny feelings for people, and it's good to confront that head on. Negotiations are everywhere in our daily life, and at the Consensus Building Institute, my colleagues and I get involved not just in helping organizations to improve the way they negotiate, but often as neutral parties, getting involved in conflicts where sometimes there are 3 or 4 parties and sometimes there are 70 or 100 parties. We do this all over the world, and we've learned a great deal about the kinds of things that go well and that can go wrong in complex negotiations. In the business world, there are a range of contexts in which you might find yourself negotiating. Purchasing, selling, technology negotiations, negotiations in a regulatory environment, negotiations on the public side, public sector, around facility siting, labor management, policy and rate setting. Negotiation, as I said before, is an activity that is common to many different contexts, but it's important for us to have a general model that will be applicable in all of these contexts. In volatile or changing times, negotiation may be the one activity that can make or break your success. This is true whether you're seeking new opportunities, renegotiating existing deals, trying to manage a shift in functions or staffing size, new roles, new responsibilities, new ways of working together. In volatile times, negotiations matter. And it's not just the results, it's the way they're carried out. Because for many of you, relationships and reputations are always on the line. So, to come back to what negotiation may mean to you, one of the things that we're going to try to do in the coming weeks is to provide you with a model that gives you not just a higher chance of success each time you negotiate, but that makes you more efficient and protects your relationships and reputation.